Hello everybody, welcome. We're moving into an era where, in my opinion, it will never, throughout all of human history to date, have been more important to be intrinsically motivated. Even in the relatively recent past, our society has been built on a belief in the power of extrinsic motivation. The story we told our young people was that if you do well in your tests and exams at school, you'll get good grades. These grades will allow you to go to a better university. Going to that university and studying a more competitive course will lead to getting a better job with enhanced career prospects that will lead to better pay, more money, and here the narrative was always suspect, I think, greater happiness. To sum up, the point of working hard was to do better rather than to be better. To do better rather than to be better. But as I mentioned, there's always been issues with this, haven't there? Let's start with the tests and exams. Well, historically, they've tended to be about assessing and rewarding one particular skill or ability, namely the ability to recall information accurately and, even better, fast. Exams are always timed, aren't they? Why is that? I've often wondered, why is speed so important? Actually, in my adult and professional life, I've found it more important to slow down, to be thorough, to go deeper, to be collaborative. In any case, computers have for a long time now been faster and more accurate than us humans at recalling information. Now, data does show that going to university on average results in higher lifetime earnings, but the gap is closing quickly. And graduates nowadays are facing a distinct shortage of entry-level jobs, especially in finance and law, according to recent research by The Economist, amongst others. And we've all known for a long time that there is very little connection between academic prowess and success in the workplace. On the contrary, we often see those with the strong, soft and interpersonal skills being the ones who flourish professionally. So, this story that we have told to generations of children really is no longer relevant. Clearly, we still want our children to work hard at school and in other aspects of their personal development. But when they ask why, what should we answer? I would suggest that we need to change our habit of telling children about what their progress will enable them to get. The reward for progress is the sense of reward that progress gives us in and of itself. Self-improvement is rewarding. For example, as I practice my guitar, I find that I improve, and this brings me joy. I'm never going to be rich by playing my guitar, trust me, and it would be false for someone to try to motivate me by saying I will. As a learning community, we need to focus more on helping our members to recognize and celebrate their progress. That means helping them to really understand what that progress looks like, sounds like, feels like. We need to help them develop the habit of being naturally reflective, to see for themselves the gap between where they are now and where they want to reach next. A percentage, a grade, a position in a rank order helps little, if at all. As an English teacher, my learning objectives for the students would almost always begin with to be able to, and they would be very specific, so that students could clearly see by the end of the lesson that they could do something new or better. And I would ask them throughout the lesson to regularly reflect on their progress towards these objectives. The intrinsic motivation I want our children to have will come from the constant sense of reward from the journey of lifelong learning and progress. And it's this that will allow them to live lives of purpose and fulfillment. Have a great weekend, everybody.